The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Howard streaks in. Touchdown. Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Nick Harris, John Machota, and Kyle Yeomans.
Go! Dallas Cowboys!
For the second time in 2023, it is a Victory Monday on Talkin Cowboys as the Cowboys absolutely dismantle New York. And no, it's not deja vu. It was toppling Giants in week 1. It was air traffic control in week 2. But the Dallas Cowboys come out on top over the New York Jets, 30-10. On Sunday. Welcome into Talkin Cowboys, everybody, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys, and they had their Black Rifle coffee getting going for a 3:25 kick on CBS. Isaiah Stanback, Nick Harris, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Gentlemen, I mean, it was another dominant game from Dallas. That's really all you can say it with, and they did a phenomenal job from the jump, getting out early and taking advantage of it as the game went along.
Yeah, kind of the same things that we saw last week, just a different script. You know, last week it was the defense and special teams helping to get out to the big lead. This time it was the offense. They win the coin toss. They said, give me the ball, and they drive down the field and get 7 points right off the top. And then, from there, the defense was able to settle in. Micah Parsons got another early sack. The defense with takeaways in the fourth quarter they were just dismantling, as you said, and just kind of helped put the final statement on this game. But, man, all three phases are looking so good right now. I mean, we could look at, the offense. I would say the red zone is a little bit of a concern. I guess we'll get to that at some point. But the offense, there's so many good things to be able to pull away from. There's so many quick game action that they're able to, enable that things are looking so great with. And then on the defensive side, I mean, point at anything, things are looking great. And then special teams, Brandon Aubrey, 5 for 5 on field goals. And Jerry Jones, we got ourselves a kicker. And we do. We do. Yep. So all three phases looked great yesterday.
I like it. Complimentary football. We talked about it a lot yesterday on the post-game show. These guys are coming out and taking care of business, right? DYJ. That was an old motto I had when I was playing for other teams. But DYJ, do your job. And that's what all three facets of the game they're doing. Whether it's Mike McCarthy calling plays, whether it's Dan Quinn taking care of business, whether it's Bones Fossil making sure his guys are fully capable of delivering their portion of their contributions as well. Offense, defense, special teams, I love it. I'm sure we'll get into a lot more in depth, but this is all good stuff.
I think the most impressive part to me is the fact that it has been so, just game plan to a T. In week 1, you wanted to get up early and then be conservative on offense and take care of the football. Check. Yeah. This game, it was more so a bit of a dogfight, at least in the first quarter, at least more than it was in week 1 against the Giants. It wasn't like it was really mano-a-mano, but it was at least a challenge there. I mean, it was 18-10 going into the halftime break, and you felt like at least the Jets had some sort of momentum that didn't carry over because time of possession took the air out of the football. Dallas led the time of possession, 42 minutes and 15 seconds. That's an unbelievable number, second most in a non-overtime game in Cowboys franchise history. The fact that they were able to control the time of possession against a team like the Jets that wanted to do the exact same thing, they beat the Jets at their own game, and they flex their muscles in doing so, and that's what's most impressive to me. Taking the best thing that the Jets do and just completely throwing it out of the realm of possibility. And they did the same thing to the Giants in week 1.
Man, we talked about it last week, the tandem of Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. Like, we expected that there were going to be problems there, and you just kind of had to weather the storm and force them to throw the ball. They didn't have any problems. 8 rushes for 16 yards between the two, and Zach Wilson was forced to throw the ball very early on, and then as the game went on, when they didn't have a choice, then it got really out of hand. But, man, that rush defense, and I think it starts with DeMarcus Lawrence. He was all over the place yesterday in run defense. Even
Early.
Micah got
First
involved.
play from scrimmage.
yeah, getting in the backfield, and he was throwing guys around. Jonathan Hankins was great. Even Mozzie got in there a little bit. Osa Digizua. I mean, that whole defensive line, man, it seems like every single person on that line is taking a step forward. And I think what's most impressive is DeMarcus Lawrence being able to do that, because we talked about so much at camp. It was like there was one side of the coin that was like, okay, where's DeMarcus Lawrence here when we were in Oxnard? There was another side of the coin that was like, he's putting up some of the highest energy numbers that he's put out since Mike McCarthy has been here. They keep talking about him. Every staff member does. And we're starting to see that manifest with DeMarcus Lawrence. He looks great out there. But again, that whole defensive line, they've taken a step forward, and you can clearly see that.
I love the fact that box got checked, because that was the one question mark that you had on this entire team. Not just
that box, no pun intended.
Yeah, you see that? Your bubble guts are gone. The bubble guts are gone. They're gone, Kyle. And I had them. They were there, right? It was a faint bubble gut, but it was still there, right? It was still the bubble.
We're drinking water.
You're still clenched tight. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, you had that feeling because you were unsure. Yeah. They were unproven. Now all of a sudden the New York Jets come in there and they have two dogs at running back, and they have an offensive line that's not the greatest offensive line, but these guys they work well together. Okay, so with that two-headed monster, you had a test. You had a test in front of you, and they went out and they aced the test. I mean, these guys had 16 rushes, 64 yards. Shut them down. That is a shutdown when you have a healthy Breece Hall and a healthy Dalvin Cook. And you shut that entire unit down, and you force them, like we talked about last week, to get out of their game plan. Once you get out of your game plan, you're playing from behind against the Dallas Cowboys, good luck.
Yeah, the only time they found success running the ball was Zach Wilson escaping the pocket on that last drive in the first half, but it was really just because of what they were trying to do defensively. There was more, I guess, pushback from the back secondary, so he was able to kind of find some running lanes. I think he ended up with 30 rushing yards on that drive alone, so that's half the total. Take that away, then
facts. Yeah, he had 5 for 36 out of the 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you take that away, and that's nothing. And also, the 64, just in its numbers entirely, that would have been the third best total in terms of rushing yards allowed in the entire 2022 season. The only two times that they did better in that time was the wild card game against Tampa Bay. They allowed just 52 yards rushing, and then earlier in the season, 38 yards against the Los Angeles Rams, against a depleted Rams team in that Week 5 matchup last year. So 2 times last year, Dallas was better in terms of run defense. They did give up 108 yards in the first game, but really a lot of that came in for the opening drive for New York, and then as the game had already gotten out of hand and things just kind of turned over for.
You mean they had abandoned the run?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
But that's the thing is that was the one.
Happen? I don't know.
That was the one knock.
Yeah.
That was the one.
That was it.
Achilles heel.
Yep.
No pun intended. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers. That's not a joke. Not a joke.
That's a whole nother conversation, though.
It is a different conversation. Not a joke. The whole point of this defense was they could not stop the run. But my goodness, if you're passing, you're either going to get it picked off or you're getting in pressure. So there's parts of it. But now you don't have that. You don't have that weakness, at least through the first two games. First two games with a healthy defense and the way that they're playing after it, they have not shown a weakness defensively.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I want to read a quote from Micah Parsons. I'm trying to find it specifically right here. Okay, here we go.
He was bold in some statements yesterday.
So I asked him. I asked him in the locker room yesterday just about this rush defense and being able to limit those guys to just 16 yards. He said, "To all those teams with those game plans, run at me, run at whoever, we coming." Mm-hmm. So
did you see him?
There's confidence there.
Did you see him quote tweeting divisional opponents?
I saw him quote tweeting Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, Jahan Dotson throws up 2-0, and Micah just quote tweeted and said, "We coming."
I think there's maybe a little bit of Penn State love there, just because they both went to Penn State. There might be a little bit of a friendly rivalry there, but still, sure. I mean, looking at it from the outside in, looking at it on paper, it's hilarious.
I think for the most part, this is a dangerous defense. They've got all 3 levels to it, and I mean, which part is it? Just no doubt defensive line? Is that no doubt? Because the secondary had 3 interceptions yesterday too. A lot of that down the stretch, but has the defensive line been the one that's set the tone and led the way?
Absolutely. It starts up front. And even in the fourth quarter when they were able to get those interceptions and the dam just completely fell in for Zach Wilson, it was because they were just applying pressure. He had to get the ball out a lot faster than he wanted to. You could look at that throw that Malik Hooker got down the sideline as a good example. He was just having to kind of throw it up and hope that, I believe it was Garrett Wilson could get down there, and Hooker was just waiting for it. So that was an example. I mean, the Trayvon Diggs pick was an example. Jaron Kearse pick was an example. It all starts up front. And Stephon Gilmore and Trayvon Diggs, they'd be the first people to tell you that too. Like, they understand that the ball's coming out a lot quicker this year, and it's only going to help them.
And that's the other part of it is the offense doing their job to keep the defense fresh. The defense was only on the field for 17 minutes. Do you think they get like half a game check this week? Because
what was it, 41 snaps, I think?
Yeah,
by the
41
Jets?
snaps.
Yeah. You know what Trayvon Diggs said? He was like, I don't like it. He's like, do you like the time of possession battle being what it is? You know, somebody had asked him, and it was all like a peppy, like hype question. He's like, no, I don't like it. I want to be on the field. Yeah. He was like, but it's a team win. We won, so whatever, right?
Hey, if you played a full game, so let's flip it on its head. Okay, let's say that the Jets had 81 plays, I think Dallas had, 81 snaps, okay? And you had this defensive front of the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Break it up. Say it's four. We're about three. I'll call it 3 defensive lines deep. Let's say that. Okay, we're really like 4. Okay. But everybody gets what? 20 plus plays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can play 20 plays. Mm-hmm. I can give you everything I got. 20 plays. No hesitation whatsoever. I'm giving you everything I have. Mm-hmm. These guys had 40 snaps total.
If they were in the whole game.
If they played the entire game.
Yeah.
So some guys who were rotating in maybe got 10 snaps.
Micah probably only got like 25 snaps.
I can look at that.
25 snaps.
Give me 5 minutes and I'll find it.
Like that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's like me watching Freddy Krueger and freaking and Problem Child, you know what I'm saying, all at the same time when I was a little kid. That's not what you want to face. Your only hope is that you get A, stay in your game plan, or B, wear them down enough where they're tired. Neither.
Yeah.
Neither are happening.
Yeah.
No, it isn't happening for defense or for opponents in general. I think it also goes back to the game plan that Mike McCarthy has set aside, and I think he deserves a bunch of credit. I think Dan Quinn does too. I mean, it's almost like you have 2 different head coaches. You got the head coach for the offense and the head coach for the defense, and both of them are doing their jobs exceptionally well right now. The offense had their struggles, and we will talk about it in the second segment about the red zone and converting on drives, finishing on drives. But there's also a conservative nature to this offense of let's not do anything too outlandish. Let's not do anything to turn the football over. This is the first time in franchise history the Cowboys have not had a turnover, not committed the turnover in the first 2 weeks.
Do it. Thank you.
Yep. But it's there. I mean, that's a stat. Yep. First 2 games of the regular season. First time that the Cowboys have ever had 2 straight turnover-free games to start a campaign. So they're taking care of the football. They're driving with the football. You just got to finish some drives.
Yeah, they got a little bit of luck not turning the ball over yesterday. It looked like Sauce Gardner had one that he would still be running right now. But nevertheless, this offense, and we've talked about it ad nauseum at this point, this offense is predicated around getting things out quick, having quick reads, and when those things are manifested, it creates safe football, and it puts the ball in situations where they can't have turnovers. There was a situation in the first quarter yesterday where Tony Pollard had a ball from Dak Prescott that kind of got him like right here, and there was a tackler right on top of him, and I just immediate PTSD. I was like, he's about to tip this up, and this is about to be a pick six, but he hauled it in. It was good. It was fine. Everything was dandy. But I guess that was the only thing that I could look at yesterday, aside from the Sauce Gardner near pick six, that I was like, okay, that could have been trouble last year, but this time around it worked out. So maybe it's luck, maybe it's game plan, maybe it's a little bit of both, but it's worked so far.
Okay, here are the snap counts for the defense, going back to that conversation we just had. There were 4 players that played 100% of the time. Leighton Vander Esch, Jaron Kearse, Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs. All, of course, off of that second level. Then you've got Malik Hooker. He played 44 of the 47 snaps. Micah Parsons played 41 of the 47. Then it's a significant drop-off. So it went from 100 for those 4 players, then 94 for Malik Hooker, 87 for Micah Parsons. The next man up, DaRon Bland, played 55% of the snaps. So outside of that, Osa Odigizua, DeMarcus Lawrence each played 51% of the snaps. Everyone else on defense played under 50% of the snaps.
Under 20 some odd snaps.
The next highest is Bland at 26. He was the first one in the 20s, and then it was 24, 24, 22, and then on down. So,
you do more
fresh.
You do more running than that when you're just doing conditioning on your regular workout days.
Yeah.
Like, just being real. Just being real. Like,
It's easy work.
That's beyond easy work. There's a thing called a 106 that coaches like to do, right? 106. You run across the field and you run back across the field. 53 and a half yards, okay? 106. You got it, okay? That is conditioning. You usually run about 15 to 18 of those, depending on who your coach is and how tough he wants to be that
How many
day.
did you run?
I ran all of them, Kyle. I had to be in the
You ran
front.
18?
Absolutely.
20 sometimes?
Yeah, you got to do it in 13 seconds.
He did 212s. He didn't do 106. He
we
did
had
it twice.
But you run more in conditioning
Yeah.
than those guys ran on the field. I mean, you're talking about Micah Parsons he has to run maybe, if he goes straight from his defensive end position straight to the quarterback, we're talking about 6 yards?
I mean,
6
by
yard
the time
burst?
he gets there, it might be 5.
Yeah. 5 to 6 yard burst. And if the quarterback escapes and he has to run him down and force him to throw an interception to one of your defensive backs, you're running maybe 20 yards. Yeah. So they put that in perspective. We're talking about conditioning is substantially more difficult than the plays that they're actually running in terms of demand on their body.
The first sack that Micah had where he just shot out of a cannon.
It's insane.
I would love to see how fast he got on that play because he was shot out of a cannon. He came out of nowhere and almost took Zach Wilson's head off.
Yeah. There's no way you defend that.
There's not.
He's
no
getting back there in about 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Can we give you I don't know if you could really zoom in. We can't zoom in.
All right, here
we
go.
go.
I'll count it. Ready?
You got
Here
it?
we go.
Here we go.
3,
Ready?
2, 1.
Boom. Snap. Sack. That's it. Let's do it one more time.
Just for fun.
Here we go. Beamer's in. All right, here we go.
This is for the 2 sacks from
For those that
Micah.
are watching, okay, those that are listening, here we go. Ready? Snap. Sack.
That was a little early. You said
No,
1.44.
Okay, 1.44. Oh. Yeah. That's it.
It's too quick.
That is it.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you even process
You don't.
that? Okay.
You don't. You don't, Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
You hope you have something pre-snap that you can throw as soon as the ball is
You
snapped.
hope you have a Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
You
Get
hope
out
you
of
have
the
a
way.
Lamar Jackson that can just take off and go. Because that's the only thing that has hurt this Cowboys defense to date. In the first 2 games, the only thing that's hurt this Cowboys defense is a quarterback's ability to drop back, catch the Cowboys doing a stunt on the front line. They leave a little gap on the front line, and then the quarterbacks are able to put their foot in the ground, take off, and get what they can. That's all that's hurt this defense so far.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that capability, those characteristics, those attributes as a quarterback, all right, now bye-bye then.
So do you worry about Jalen Hurts?
I believe that their approach will be similar to that. I mean, they're gonna do what they did last year, and they're gonna do zone read. They're gonna do that. They're gonna make the defensive end slow down. They have to. That's the best strategy. But every team doesn't possess that ability. That is not within the offensive scope of most teams. Right? Those guys are going to do that well. That's what they do well. So you have the game plan for that.
And they're not going to see that until Philly. I mean, the quarterback's coming up. I mean, no disrespect to them, but they don't have the mobility that obviously Jalen Hurts has.
I mean, the quarterback's coming up. They would have that mobility if Kyler Murray was available, but it's going to be Joshua Dobbs.
The closest thing you're going to come to that
Next
is
week.
going to be, and again, this is not even from the quarterback's perspective, but week 5 against San Fran, because they do so much moving, they do so much pulling, so much misdirection. That's going to be the only thing that I can see in terms of the upcoming opponents, Arizona and New England, that are really going to slow down these guys in terms of their rushing.
And Debo's getting involved in the backfield again, so it's going to be a backfield challenge for sure. I think you're right; it'll be a similar challenge. But as far as having a mobile guy, you're not going to see that until Philly.
Week 9.
When we come back, though, I want to talk about finishing drives. How big of a concern is it that Dallas was unable to finish multiple drives? You ended up with 5 field goals for Brandon Aubrey. Great work, great stat, great job by the rookie kicker from Plano. But it wasn't necessarily something that was welcome from that offense. How do you look at that as a problem moving forward? Or is it even a problem moving forward? I think that's a big debate amongst Cowboys Nation right now. We'll talk about that when we come back. This segment was brought to you by a Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan. We'll be back with more Talking Cowboys right after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Black Rifle Coffee Company serves premium coffee to people who love America. When you drink Black Rifle coffee, you are directly supporting veterans, law enforcement, and first responders in your community. Black Rifle's expert roasters love coffee almost as much as Texas loves football, so it makes sense that America's Coffee partnered with America's team. Go online at blackriflecoffee.com and fuel up with the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. That's blackriflecoffee.com to fuel up today.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
This portion of the Talkin Cowboys podcast is brought to you by Quaker Oats, a super trusted superfood. Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. You just had your Quaker Oats.
I just finished my Quaker Oats, Kyle.
How were they?
They were delicious.
Get out of here.
Corny.
High five. All right.
I'm done with both of y'all.
What? We had some fun.
What's up, John? How you doing?
Oh, you're turning to the empty chair before you turn to us.
We
Okay.
need to put like a face card of John here when he
should.
can't make it.
Dude, that actually is a
Beamer?
great idea.
Beamer. I know Beamer's ready for that.
Got to get a cutout.
We need a cutout.
Put him right there. That would be funny. All right. Defensively, the Cowboys set the tone. Defensively, they did everything they needed to really enforce their will on the New York Jets. Control time of possession. They had 4 takeaways. Most of those late in the game, but for the most part, it was stopping the run. It was slowing down Zach Wilson and forcing the Jets to punt.
Who'd you get an MVP to on defense?
Oh, man.
Micah.
Well, I mean, we got to do Smelly stickers in the next segment.
Sorry.
So,
good talk.
But guess where the helmet is?
Minute 44, buddy. That's your record.
Coming. I'm going to be like Micah Parsons. Yeah, I'm going to be like Micah Parsons getting up there. I want to talk about the offense, though, because there is a bit of a debate amongst Cowboys Nation. Twitter's down right now, but other than that, we've seen the debate already. Was it okay to see conservative play calls and points every time that Dallas got into the red zone, as opposed to finishing off drives? I'm of the thought process that it's okay in this scenario because it's what the game called for. Get some points, continue to roll. My one concern is moving into the future when it is a part of the game and the scenario is there, they stall out and they aren't able to rely on just field goal points to win tight football games. Nick, what did you think about the red zone efficiency for this offense and what it looked like once the field was significantly shorter, how they stalled out on multiple occasions?
So I want to start with week 1, 3 for 5 on red zone opportunities and scoring touchdowns. And of those 3 opportunities, I believe 2 of them, they needed a 3rd and goal situation. Yesterday, 2 for 6 scoring touchdowns once getting into the red zone. I need to go back and watch the film to figure out what exactly is the problem. But once they get in short yardage, things become a lot more difficult. And I think part of it can be attributed to the fact that you've played really good interior defensive lines back-to-back weeks, guys that are really good in run defense, and a second level too, that when they're not backed up 5-10 yards, they can really come downhill and they can put a pop on you. You know, I feel like both of the Giants and the Jets are able to do that well. So maybe there's a little bit of a I guess, healthier play against Arizona. But short yardage run, haven't been completely encouraged by it just yet. I love what Tony Pollard was able to do on a 2-point conversion. Hunter Lipke really paved the way for that one and got his nose dirty in there and set a good block. But you're not going to have that every time just because personnel's not going to always call for Hunter Lipke to be in the game for those kind of situations. The only bright side I guess you could pull away from short yardage situations up to this point is they've been able to get the tight ends involved, whether it be Jake Ferguson, Luke Schoonmaker. They even handed it off to Peyton Hendershot, and he completely missed a wide open hole for a touchdown. But that's besides the point. But they've been able to get the tight ends involved, and it's been on first and second reads at times. The Schoonmaker touchdown, that was not his first read, but the play was designed where he was able to be open and kind of leak out and give an option for Dak. So I think the pass game in short yardage or in the red zone has been good, but they also haven't utilized CeeDee Lamb, and I feel like he's at his best in the red zone because he's going to put guys in a situation where they're going to be 5 yards away from him as soon as he breaks. I believe it was the pass on third down where Dak was trying to hit Jake Ferguson in the back of the end zone. CeeDee Lamb was wide open in the other corner of the end zone. It just Dak didn't see him. So get CeeDee Lamb more involved. Maybe pave the way a little bit more for running opportunities in those short yardage situations. But I guess that's the one concern I could pull away from these first two games. And granted, yes, it's 70-10 the score at this point. But whenever you get in those dogfight games against Philly or San Francisco and you need those points in the red zone, they're going to be tougher to come by.
I think that's the biggest concern for me is against the Jets, whenever you've outscored opponents 70-10, you can look at it and say it's nitpicking. And it is to a certain extent. But it's not always going to be like that. You're going to face good defenses, good fronts. San Francisco in Week 5 is one that I've got circled right now because you will. I mean, New England's got a really good defense. Don't get us wrong. You'll see them in 2 weeks. Cardinals aren't the same team that you just played back-to-back weeks. You should handle the Cardinals in Week 3. But with the New England defense looming and the San Francisco defense looming, and we know what Philly brings to the table, you're going to face good fronts like you have in Weeks 1 and Week 2, but you got to find a way to get through that and to be significantly more efficient. This is the team that was number 1 in red zone efficiency last year. Number 1, and that was one thing that Kellen Moore was really good at, and I'm not saying Mike McCarthy's bad at it by any stretch. I just think he's been very conservative. And it's a little bit concerning if it continues. Right now, it's fine, but it's one of those things where you don't want it to continue.
No, it's not, Kyle. It's not fine.
It is fine.
No,
right
it's
now.
not, Kyle.
They are 2-0. They've won the game significantly.
No, the overarching goal, yes, is fine. However, as an offensive coach, you want 100% when you get to the red zone. Sure. That is his goal. His goal is to be 100%. We get down there, we score touchdowns. They hate kicking field goals. They'll take field goals, but they hate taking them if they being the fact that their goal is to go ahead and score touchdowns. So from the coach's perspective, they are not satisfied with 2 out of 6. Mm-hmm. Not even remotely. Even if they had one more, okay, percentage-wise, 50% in the red zone is pretty doggone good, okay? That's not going to be acceptable for the staff either. So, yes, it will get by these lower-tier teams, these less competitive teams, but it's never going to be okay in the coach's eyes. So whether Coach McCarthy has been, quote-unquote, successful in that regard to date or not, he's going to be finding ways to make sure this ball finds its way to the end zone every single time they get down there.
I'll tell you this. This team has become a lot better when looking at just perspective down the road. Mm-hmm. They're planning for January and February more so this year than I feel like they have in recent years. And if you look at going 5 for 11 in the red zone with touchdowns, if you go 5 for 11 over the course of 2 weeks in the playoffs, you probably don't win one of those games. That's a fact. And again, we're nitpicking. It's only the first 2 weeks, but I just want to see a little bit more success there. I want the short yardage running to be figured out. I want to get more guys involved in the pass game inside the 20.
What did you think about the tight ends and the way that they fared outside of just the red zone and the touches that they had there? Because Dak talked about it in the week. Confidence boost for the tight ends who had multiple drops in Week 1, and that was the one position that I think Cowboys Nation was looking at and saying, we probably need a little bit more from you at some point. What did you feel like they played like in that game? And I mean, the 2 touchdown grabs were nice, but that was really about all they had from a production standpoint. Yeah,
I did expect a lot more production from Jake Ferguson, but I think it was just kind of taking what was given to them, and what was given to them was a great game from CeeDee Lamb. So
that's true.
When you have wide receiver 1 that's able to get open like that, man, it's, I'm not going to nitpick that by any means, because I feel like whether it was blocking or just getting open or setting guys up, the tight ends did fine. I'm not worried about how they played yesterday. From a production standpoint, yeah, I maybe expected a little bit more, but I'm not worried about it after that one. I would have been worried about it after week 1.
Do you think not having Brandon Cooks, even just as a pass-catching threat, affects how the tight ends are utilized, or is that mostly just what has come from a pass distribution standpoint, getting everybody involved?
I mean, not having Brandon Cooks is always going to affect you in some regard, but it's the next man up, mentality. And the reality is, Coach McCarthy and Dak, they're both doing a great job, and Shotty, of distributing the ball. Mm-hmm. And when you can distribute the ball to everyone, now as a defensive coordinator, who do you have to worry about? Everyone, right? When you realize that everybody can hurt you, right? Now, obviously, CD's going to get his share. He's going to get far more than other people. That's a given. That's always going to be the goal: get your number one playmaker the ball in his hands. However, every single person on this roster has touched the ball. When you think about guys that are going out there are expected to catch the ball, all the tight ends, all the running backs. Lipke's involved. I say he's involved because he's blocking. Mm-hmm. Okay, so all the running backs have touched the ball. Okay, all the receivers, except for Brooks. Brooks got out there and was at least some form.
He laid a nice block on the edge. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, everybody's involved. So they're not. This is not a team offensively that just has guys on the roster just in case. He's putting everyone out there. If you're on this roster, you're going to make and you're on the game day roster, you're going to make a contribution. There was times in my career, a lot of times where if you were on the team, like, you were just there sometimes, depending on who you were. Like, you might not touch the field, even if you were on the game day roster.
Yeah, even if you were active.
Yeah, even if you were active. Yeah. Not here. Like, you better be in the game plan because you're playing on offense. And you're not just here to be a special teamers and a number 6 receiver. You're not here just to be the fourth running back and be a personal protector or whatever it might be on special teams. Like, you're going to play, and you better be ready to contribute.
You brought him up, so I have to say it. The Hunter Lipke play of the day was the block that he laid in front of Rico Dowdle off of. He got it out in the flat, and Rico picked up about 15, 20 yards. So every Monday, I think I'm going to have a segment. Hunter Lipke play of the day. That was it.
You brought him up in the first segment too. You sprinkled it in there.
I don't even remember, man. It's like second nature.
Yeah, I was about to say it's just a involuntary reaction. 9 players with a reception. CeeDee Lamb had 11 for 143. Again, CeeDee Lamb is just on another level. Tony Pollard had 7 receptions for 37 yards. Jalen Tolbert had 3 catches. Dowdle had a catch. Deuce Vaughn had 3 catches. Ferguson had 3 catches. Turpin, Gallup, and Schoonmaker all had 1.
Everybody.
Yep.
Everybody. Hide your wives, hide the kids. We get everybody hitting the ball.
6 different players had a rushing attempt. Tony Pollard set a career high with 25 carries.
That's a lot.
Did you like that?
I do like that, actually.
Okay.
I mean, especially when you think about the fact they had over 80 snaps.
Yeah, they did.
So I'll take 25 from Tony Pollard.
It was the most touches a Cowboys running back got since 2019 against the Jets, Ezekiel Elliott.
Interesting.
Fun little nugget there.
Yeah, and do you think he handled the workload well? He didn't necessarily light up the stat sheet. He didn't hit the home run ball either like he normally would.
Yeah, he had a couple that he squeaked through and got off for about 15 yards, but less than 3 yards a carry. I'd like to see a little bit more efficiency there. But that goes back to short yardage stuff as well. Just being set up in those situations a little bit better too.
What'd you think about the offensive line, Isaiah? Chuma Edoga out in the early parts of the game. TJ Bass had to come in and play a significant number of snaps.
I just think that these guys are, regardless of the position, but obviously offensive line position, next man up is being proven, right? Tyler Smith goes out. Chuma Edoga comes in, takes care of business, right? Holds his own against a very tough interior defensive line last week with the Giants. All of a sudden, he goes down. Now TJ Bass comes in, handles himself well. I think he could have done better, but obviously he's young, right? Yep. Handles himself against another very dominant interior defensive line presence. So, shout out to, Mike Solari and what he's done with this group so far. You should yearn for to be in a position where it doesn't matter who comes into the game. You're still going to be able to execute. And that's where this offense is right now, especially across the offensive line front. Dallas Cowboys fans don't know what it feels like right now to have their starting offensive line out there. And you're still put up 70 points in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. I love what Chuma Edoga did overall. And even when TJ Bass got in, he had his moments. But, man, I think it was his third snap. Quentin Williams said, "Welcome to the NFL, buddy." It was a tough
he
one.
laid a seal block the play before that.
Yeah, it was great.
It was for a first down, came and pulled and just, boom, laid the edge. I forgot who the tailback was. It was either Pollard or Dowdle. Snuck right in behind him and then had a first down
I think it was
run.
Deuce.
Oh, no, I think it was
it not?
I think it was Dowdle.
Okay.
I want to say it was Dowdle. I can go look at the play specifically and give you a confirmation. But he turns around and then the next play he gets thrown into the backfield, and I was like, okay, like the ups and downs. Here comes the roller coaster of a rookie undrafted free agent. I liked what Bass had to do when he played. Edoga played 45 snaps. TJ Bass had 42, so he got a significant amount of work. I mean, when Edoga went down,
I didn't realize he played that much.
He played a lot.
I knew he played quite a bit, but I didn't realize it was nearly half the
offensive snaps, of course. And we've talked about it already. They took 80 plays on offense, so that's a lot of snaps.
That's insane.
Yeah,
it's a lot of snaps. All right, when we come back here on Talkin Cowboys, give us a text 817-290-3298. Who does your scratch and sniff Smelly sticker go to this week? Who is your Cowboys player of the game? We're going to give ours next. We're going to allow for you to vote for the fans one. The fans voted for Trayvon Diggs last week. Who do they vote for this week? 817-290-3298. Smelly stickers coming up next on Talkin Cowboys.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag & Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag & Turf, the official Ag & Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talkin Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Back here with Nick Harris, Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back. Why are you flexing?
Feeling very Micah-ish today, Kyle.
Because you got the lion on?
That's right. You see that right there, Beamer? That's right, the lion. You see it. Yep, all day long, baby. That's
what I see
rocking.
is free advertising.
Yeah, that's what I see as well.
I come from work, Kyle. So.
Yeah, you do. You do have an excuse. You do. It is a great cause, too. I like it. All right. It's time for Smelly Stickers. Send us your player of the game for the Dallas Cowboys. The text line, 817-290-3298.
This man right here is different. Do you know this man worked out the morning of his wedding?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do know that.
Craziness.
Yeah, it was fun. Wow. Yeah, it was really fun.
Madman.
We're going to get some of these Smelly stickers. I see some votes for Deuce Vaughn, Tyler Biotish. There's a lot of texts coming in, so get your vote in. 817-290-3298. You guys can sift through it. All right, I'm going to let Isaiah start this one.
Oh, she's going to throw me a Smelly sticker.
Because I think you started, or wait, who started last week?
I did, and
Nick
I
started
fumbled the
last
bag
week
because I didn't know the stickers were tied.
Do you want a redemption to start then?
No, I don't. I need time.
Need some time to think about it. All right. You got to learn the stickers. You got to learn the palettes.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some new ones. I promise. I'll get some new ones this week.
Some new flavors.
Yeah. These are the same ones from when we started this tradition 2 years ago.
All right.
What you got?
All right. Nothing too crazy here.
Okay.
But I already know where you guys are going to go. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take the alley-oop one.
I might.
I know. I'll leave that one up for you. Yeah. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab this banana right here. Mm-hmm. This is a banana right there. Not a plantain. It's a banana. You know why I grabbed a banana?
It's not a plantain?
Not a plantain, buddy. It is a banana. You know why?
Why is that?
Because Mr. D-Law is going bananas. He's going bananas. He is setting the tempo. I know a lot of people are saying that Micah Parsons is setting the tempo right now, but D-Law is quietly setting the tempo for this defense, and everybody else is benefiting from it, including Micah Parsons. So, D-Law, you going bananas.
You know, it's funny. I walked in this morning, and he was the first person. He's already done with his workout. He walked out of the building, and he had his breakfast in his hand, and on top of his to-go box, guess what he had? It was a banana.
Banana, that's right.
He had a banana.
That's
so
right.
there you
We're
go.
in sync, buddy.
I'll give Nick some extra time here.
I'm ready.
Oh, you ready?
I'm ready if I need to be.
Get after it.
Put some respect on it, Nick.
Come on
I'm ready
now.
if I need to be. So I'm gonna peel off this beautiful lime here. It's a bright green.
Bright green.
And you know what this bright green represents for me? It's a green light for this pass rush to do whatever the heck they want. So I'm gonna give it to Micah Parsons.
Bang!
Who was definitely the leader of that pass rush group yesterday.
It's a green light. Bars. A green light. I love it.
See what you did. Let me see the location. Let me check out the location.
Yeah, you put it right there. Right on the front.
See it right there.
Yeah, it looks right there.
Yep.
Yeah, right there.
Yep, green light, just so everybody sees it.
Green light. Bang. All right. I'm going to go with an apple. This apple right here. Y'all see that? It looks nice, right? Big, shiny red apple.
It's like a Snow White apple.
It does look like a Snow White apple a little bit. But here's the thing. With this apple, what are teachers known for, right?
Teaching.
Knowledge.
Passing that knowledge on. What happens whenever a student and really the students collectively as a group, what do they do whenever they like a teacher? They give them an apple, right?
Yeah.
The old adage of teacher and an apple at the desk, right?
Correct.
Well, that teacher's Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy's been teaching this Cowboys offense how to execute a game plan. It's not always perfect. Neither are students. It's not always perfect. But they're teaching and they're learning. And there's lots of learning going on with that Cowboys offense. So I'm going to give this one to Mike McCarthy this week. Mike McCarthy, our sticker. We've got a ton of votes. I might have to spend like an hour going through it. You can send your votes in, 817-290-3298. We'll get John Machota's Smelly sticker tomorrow. I might as well just leave this in here so I don't have to run up again. But
even though you did set a record today.
I did set a record.
By 1 second.
1.43.
Not even.
Yeah, not even.
Quicker than Micah Parsons.
Oh, is that a challenge?
No. It's no.
Challenge.
Not at all. All right. From week 1 going into week 2, where was the biggest level of improvement? I asked you that question last week of what do you want to see as an improvement for this Cowboys team? Where do you think they did improve from their first game to their second game, Isaiah?
Offensive efficiency. That's what I would say. I think they were highly efficient in their execution of their offense. I think there's still a lot that he has in the bag, which I love because in recent years we've become accustomed to a lot of things being thrown out there and being wild and ooh la la in the first couple weeks. But Mike McCarthy has kept probably majority of his supplies in the bag, and I love that. But I mean, you talk about the efficiency rating of Dak, going 81%. Passing. I mean, you talk about getting out of the huddle, guys getting up to the line of scrimmage, knowing what they're doing, getting 80 plays off. That is insane. That is college football type snaps when we talk about no huddle type offense. And these guys are actually getting into the huddle or that of the Dallas Cowboys. So this is a highly efficient offense right now, and I'm loving it.
I'm with that. I think third down efficiency was something that was especially awesome to see in the first 2+ quarters until things just kind of got out of hand, and then third down efficiency kind of stepped back a little bit. But 7 for 10, that's what they started for third down efficiency with during the game yesterday. And I believe in week 1 they went 6 for 13 overall on third down. So that, and then getting more guys involved. 9 guys with a reception yesterday, 6 in week 1. So just getting your playmakers involved, and especially Brandon Cooks not in the equation either. It would have easily been 10 guys with a reception if he was on the field. So getting everybody involved and slowly increasing everything across the board, whether it be DAX completion percentage, third down efficiency, etc. You love to see those things.
Yeah, I think the efficiency was the number one thing. I still keep going back to that turnover or the time of possession stat. I think time of possession stat is nuts. To control the ball for 42 minutes, that's pure dominance. I mean, that's the way that you want to get the job done. I think there's still ways that this offense can improve, especially in finishing and drives, and we'll talk about that. I think going into the week and against Arizona, that's going to be a great opportunity to do so because they just don't have the same front seven that the Giants and the Jets do. But you're also just trying to make sure you keep that momentum going on offense and still moving the ball. They've been able to move the ball nicely. They've moved the ball significantly, but you got to find a way to finish drives. That's kind of the one thing, the one knock against this team right now is you got to finish. All right. When we come back tomorrow, we will be taking your calls, 888-855-2297. We will start lining those up very early. You can also call Nick Eatman's Cowboys storyline. By the way, congratulations to Nick Eatman. 500 games covered.
Big 500.
500 games covered. He hit that 500 mark yesterday. We got to talk about it a little on pregame live, and it was a cool moment to get to celebrate for Nick, and he does a phenomenal job on his new podcast. So give him a call, 888-855-2297. He goes live at 10 a.m. Central Time here in just a couple minutes. But for Isaiah Stanback, Nick Harris, Chris Beam in the back, it's a Cowboys Victory Monday again on Talkin Cowboys as they defeat the Jets 30-10. We'll see you tomorrow with more Talkin Cowboys from the Star in Frisco.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!